Allora, un piccolo recap. Abbiamo appena sconfitto Bahamut, ok, che è per l'appunto Dion, l'Esage, il principe, no? Che praticamente accidentalmente, ok, spero di non far spoiler, o comunque ha ucciso accidentalmente suo padre, il re, e che ha tentato di salvare il futuro re. Anzi, sì, ormai era stato concordato che l'avrebbero coronato, il suo fratellastro, diciamo, perché lui non era a quanto pare un puro sangue. Ok, primogenesis, vediamo cosa ci dice. Un incantesimo lanciato da Ultima che ha gettato una nera coltre su tutta Valistea. Primogenesis 8 è il nostro fidato, no? Sovrintendente capo del rifugio di Clive. 8 continua nel ruolo che aveva sotto Sid, ovvero responsabili di tutti i soldi e delle informazioni che entrano ed escono dal rifugio, e sembrerebbe essere molto molto fedele e affidabile. Joshua Rosfield, che è il nostro fratello, vediamo, dominante della Fenice ed ex erede del trono del ducato. Sebbene lui e Clive abbiano percorso strade diverse per molti anni, i due fratelli si sono finalmente ritrovati tra le rovine del dominio cristallino. E sì, ci siamo, infatti abbiamo sconfitto Bahamut grazie al suo aiuto, uno scontro epico da parte di Theodore. Da sponde gemelle dicono che resti ben poco della capitale dopo la sfuriata del principe impazzito. Ma che mi dici di te e dei tuoi compagni? Siete riusciti a scappare prima che la città esplodesse? Immagino di sì. Ma uno Stolas aiuterebbe a tranquillizzare El. Informazioni dagli spezzamaledizioni. Oppure magari distruggendo tutti i cristalli, cosa che stiamo facendo, distruggeremo parte di queste maledizioni anche, no? Informazioni degli spezzamaledizioni, i rapporti dei nostri fratelli e delle nostre sorelle sul campo sono concordi. Quei maledetti cieli proiettano un'ombra non solo sulle terre, ma anche sui cuori delle persone. Ai ai ai, i cuori che sono già gravati dalla caduta del dominio e della distruzione dell'ultimo cristallo madre di Ciclonia. Per il momento il regno resiste, ma ogni nuovo flusso avvicina gli abitanti rimasti al baratro della follia. La situazione è come sempre molto grave. Ti invieremo un altro messaggio con la luna nuova. Fino ad allora la nostra veglia continua. Che la maledizione dei cristalli venga finalmente spezzata, August. Confido che tu e il tuo gruppo abbiate raggiunto il dominio senza ulteriori incidenti. Se i tuoi viaggi dovessero riportarti al mercato in cerca di aiuto, di altro aiuto, le carovane scarlatte saranno ben liete di fornirtelo. Potremmo persino offrirti uno sconto sulle nostre normali tariffe. Ah, ok, ci danno degli sconti, Illinois. Riguardo l'altro giorno, il nostro Otto, sappi che non ho mai versato una lacrima davanti a nessuno, nemmeno davanti a mia madre, e che non mi vedrai farlo di nuovo molto presto. Perciò, se fa piacere a vostra signoria, direi che possiamo dimenticarci entrambi di tutta quella faccenda. Il Sid che scelsi di seguire tanto tempo fa non è più tra noi. C'è modo di ripescarlo dagli abissi in cui si è cacciato. Non c'è modo. Ma il suo retaggio sopravvive in te e in chiunque abiti il futuro, così come è vero che il cielo è blu. O almeno credo che sia ancora amore, ancora di colore, e fin quando non sarà, mi ritroverai qui e potrai contare su di me. Oh, ok.
How is it that every one of your little excursions presages some inexplicable catastrophe? Not that you are to blame for the Dominion's fate. No one could have predicted the actions of the Crown Prince.
I'm sorry I couldn't save your home.
My countrymen are stronger than you think. A few toppled clock towers won't break their spirits.
I hope so.
Look at us. Bluer than a pair of bog crabs. Tempting though it may be, sulking will not help us find a solution to this mess.
You believe there's one to be found?
I don't know. But I am certain we're more likely to find it if we
Fabio, ho cambiato diverse impostazioni. Sembra meglio adesso. Ok.
Beneath these darkened skies, fear and confusion reign over Valisthea. Oh, the lands around the fallen mother crystals had already begun to wilt for want of ether. But not like this. Crystals that filled wells and fueled furnaces, now nothing but pretty shards of rock. And those that hang from the people's necks cast nary a glimmer of light to keep the dark at bay. It is only a matter of time before the common folk convince themselves that the end of days is upon us. Yet I fear a swift end is more than we can hope for. While most of the world thirsts for ether, the remainder drowns in it, spawning Akashic in droves. And amidst the hordes of mindless beasts, with magics as like to fail as function, even the strongest nation would falter. Rosaria and the Iron Kingdom teeter on the brink of collapse, while the tragedy in Twinside has all but paralyzed the Holy Empire. Dalmekia fares little better. Rumor has it the ministers fled the capital after the fall of Drake's Fang, leaving their beloved republic to crumble. Waloed, meanwhile, moves in earnest. The Einherjar has been sighted off Storm. The world, in short, is in chaos. It would seem our civilization was nothing but a castle of sand, to be washed away at the whim of the waves.
A castle of sand.
Not my best flourish, but it seemed fitting. The reports I've received are considerably more blunt in their appraisal. Without the protection of their nations, it will fall to the people to defend themselves against those who would take what is theirs.
Which is only ever going to end one way.
Defending a farmhouse against a band of chocobo thieves is one thing, but pitchforks and palisades will do little to stall an army's advance. Should the King of Waloed deign to invade, there would be none to stop him.
None but us.
Ok, bene, bene, bene. Il mondo, cioè bene, tra virgolette, il mondo è alla rovina, diciamo, siamo sull'orlo del caos, sull'orlo della distruzione del mondo praticamente qua. E in parte è anche causa nostra, perciò vediamo se riusciremo anche a ripristinare le cose qua.
Let me guess. You're here about the skies.
Is there anything you don't know, Lawsman?
It doesn't take a court astrologer to augur the obvious. As for what has disturbed the heavens, that, I believe, is a question the Fallen might be better placed to answer than I. And on the sixth day did the gods tear the sun from the firmament, visiting darkness upon their prideful sons and daughters. But I dare say you remember your childhood lessons on the sins of Zemeckis only too well.
You think they're connected? That Ultima was one of the gods responsible?
Well, he has certainly exhibited powers that we mortals would associate with the divine.
There is nothing divine about him.
But he wouldn't be the first god of whom that could be said, now would he? Yet for all the fairy tales that tell of the sins, there is almost nothing in the way of actual historical accounts. Had I the Journal of Moss the Chronicler, I may have been able to tell you more, but alas, I fear all remaining copies have been lost to time. You will forgive me, I hope?
Certainly not. Because there is nothing to forgive. Even without this journal, you've provided us ample wisdom. And we will always be grateful for it. Perhaps Otto will be more inclined to share his thoughts when he hears what the others had to say.
Clive, we have a problem.
Only one. That would be a first.
It would. Actually, there are three. We had as many owls arrive while you were at the shelves. Martha's got a Akashic out her gates, and talk of monsters roaming the hills outside of Northreach has put the wind up Isabel and her lot.
And don't forget Dalimil. Lubor says the village was raided by bandits.
When it rains...
It fucking pours. The curse breakers are spread thin, taking stock of the damage in the Dominion. And even if I could get word to all of them, I doubt they'd get here in time to make any real difference. Which means there's only 2 people who can.
Jill and I.
Let them know we're on our way.
Fancy a look at the list, do you?
Non voglio essere pessimista, ma sta andando tutto a rotoli. In passato i nostri rapporti riguardavano movimenti di truppe e occasioni di liberare portatori. Ora parlano soltanto di flussi di etere, attacchi di Akashi e dannati briganti. Gli spezza maledizioni e i nostri alleati fanno il possibile per cercare di restare a galla, ma hanno bisogno di tutto l'aiuto possibile. Contano su di te, Clive, come tutti noi.
More arrived from the capital.
My lord, milady.
We received the dame's message. There have been sightings of strange creatures, I understand.
With the blue eyes. Yes. Like a Kashik, but different. They've taken so many. I've lost count.
Akashic, but different.
Ultimus thralls. And what of your mistress? Is she here?
Oh, no. She went to the garrison to ask what they were planning on doing about all this.
Then we'll look for her there.
Esatto, tra l'altro una PlayStation 5 serve per poterlo giocare questo gioco. Sì. Comunque pian piano lo stiamo mettendo anche su YouTube, perciò cioè, secondo me ne vale. Però sono un fan della saga.
We've tried requesting reinforcements, but there's been no word from the capital or the Dominion in days. What more would you have us do?
I would have you do your duty. Those at the Vale look to me for protection. And protect them I shall. Because they are my charges, and that is my duty. In case you have forgotten, the people of this town are your charges. But more than that, they are your people. Your sisters, your brothers, your lovers. So you have a choice. Lay down your sword and watch as they are slaughtered, or take it up and do what is right.
She speaks the truth, you know. This here, it's all we have. It's all that's left.
What we have left is our lives. Do you really want us to lose them as well?
Not if we don't have to. Look, there's a cask under the captain's bunk. Let's talk about this over a drink, eh?
I'm listening.
I'll have a word with him.
Ah, Clive. I didn't expect help to arrive so quickly. And sought to take matters into my own hands.
It was a noble effort, but I thought you might still need some support.
I'd like you to consider my needs. What we need to consider is where the creatures came from. The way the survivors speak of them, one would think they appeared out of thin air. And perhaps they did. It's hard to know what to believe these days.
We'll talk to the survivors.
My family.
You're a pikeman, yes? What happened?
I've got family in Moor. I heard the flood was spreading, so I went to see if they were all right. And a pack of them glowing things found me in the meadow. I ran for my life. I never did get to the village.
Leave that to us.
Did you see the creatures that attacked you?
Creatures? Yeah, they came out of nowhere. They went for Joseph first, then me, and then they were just gone.
Do you remember where you were?
On the road from Oriflamme. We just passed Moor when Joseph.
It's all right. Just rest now. At least we have an idea of where the thralls might be now. We should head for more.
Uccidi i nemici.
I see them. With me.
Should I prime?
Save your strength.
Aio. Aspetta che qua c'è un maghetto che li sta aiutando questi. Sì, è questo qua, eccolo qua. Anche se fosse Dennis. Aio. Nemici uccisi. Cenere magica 55.
Do you think there are more?
There are always more. But I'd say we've done what we can for the time.
Tutto è possibile, Dennis.
Then we should let Isabel know.
You have the town's thanks.
Don't thank us yet. There will be more. Many more. And you'll need to be ready for them.
Oh, we shall. Isn't that right, Captain?
Yes, milady. The garrison will be ready.
Philippe here has convinced most of the men to remain at their posts. For now, at least.
Hearing that the Dane would look kindly on any man who committed himself to the task certainly didn't hurt. It's not the most selfless of motives, I'll admit. But whatever it takes, eh? Now me, I never needed convincing. I became a soldier to protect the people I love. And the people I love include the one standing before me.
Handsome and chivalrous.
Now, if you don't mind, I have sentries to post. Milady.
Lest you wonder, I'm not foolish enough to believe that this has solved all of my problems. But it has solved one, and that's one fewer than I had this morning. Thank you again, Clive.
Perché lottiamo cenere magiche a 100 cenere magiche, meteorite 1. Ci danno veramente tantissimi oggetti. E sì, questo gioco sta andando un po' per le lente, rilento. Ciao notte, grazie tantissimo a tutti di essere rimasti qua con noi fino alla fine. Shini, Dennis, Nuvola, e poi dopo comunque voi siete sicuramente più attivi nel nostro landone. Dopo c'era Fabio e dopo c'è anche Kitora, c'è anche la nostra Welverance. E poi dopo chi altro c'è? No? Carlo, Mectallo e Bazooka. E grazie tantissimo a tutti. A domani sempre dalle 20 alle 22 con Genshin e poi dopo continueremo, vediamo di fare un altro paio di ore di Final Fantasy se riusciamo. Vi auguro una buona notte, ringrazio ancora Alessandro17Z che quest'oggi ci ha fatto l'abbonamento. Buonanotte a tutti. A presto, a domani o dopodomani quando ci siete. Ciao ciao.